Bulletcast for life.
Get up! This is a revolution! This is our time to rise! Look deep within your mind, look deep into the hate in my eyes.
Ladies and gentlemen, you know the name, you know the voice, you know exactly why I'm here. Just in case if you don't, I'm a 25-year-old piece of gold, the messiah of the microphone, and the greatest sports recreational podcast in the world today. I'm also the California Classic, the fully vaccinated king, and the Valkyrie King of the Great White North. Why? Because I'm Canada's favorite honorary son. Ugh. But you know I never do it alone. He's my tag team partner, the Jim of my J, the Totem Honor, the Stevie Ray to my Booker T, and he's the current reigning, defending, undisputed Bulletcast champion. What is it, 13 times? 13 times the Bulletcast champion. Ladies and gentlemen, the Canadian Destroyer, BT Brandon Tanguma. Yay! Woo! How's it going, brother? It's Thursday. You know what that means.
It's another edition of the Bulletcast. Phillip, I'm doing just fine. If you guys listen to Under the Radar that I posted yesterday, which you definitely should listen to, I hinted at this. Your boy is not a broke, unemployed college graduate anymore. I'm just a broke, employed college graduate. So Under the Radar came back for 2 weeks, and it's looking like it's going to go right back in the closet where it's probably going to be for a very long time. But fear not, I'm not leaving the Bulletcast. We just got to schedule around, we got to fix some things. Maybe we put it on a later date. Maybe we change the schedule. We don't know. So I'm not leaving. Insert Leonardo DiCaprio GIF meme. I'm not leaving. It's just things might change around here.
Things might change around here. Yeah. I don't know, man. I need you here. You're the reason why we've been able to achieve all this success in the long-term run. Doing a podcast by yourself for an hour or so, it's hard. Like, if anybody's ever tried to do that, it is very difficult. That's why Brandon has been an asset to this show, and I love having him.
A big asset.
Yeah. Hey now, a toned asset. Whenever the Bulletcast has a Hall of Fame, he's going in. He's going in.
Right after Mr. X, though.
Yeah. He's the first inductee for sure, dude. I already talked to him about it. He's down. He's down. Let me get a warehouse real quick.
He's already calling the sculptor for the bus.
Absolutely. He's calling the WWE archivist to get some things in order. Before we get into the world of professional wrestling, we got to talk about HD for Life on teesprings.com. Socials on Twitter and Instagram, hd.for.life. Designs, Get Her Done 1 and 2, Hurry Up 1 and 2, Mr. Sapa 1 and 2, H-Dog, Mother's Love, King H-Dog, H-Dog dash, Get It, Mr. Pimpin', HD for Life Americana, Common Sense, Soldier H-Dog, Life Safety, HD for Life Safety, Lily's Love, HD for Life, Orange and Pink, Softball Life, Reunite, Generations de La Arena, Little H-Dog, Explode, and Show Quality 1, 2, and 3, uno, dos, tres. They have drinkware, fanny pack, socks, hoodies, t-shirts, sweatpants, tank tops, face masks, tote bags, mugs, pillows, beach towels, posters, blankets, phone cases, stickers, and so much more. HD for Life on teesprings.com. Once again, Twitter and Instagram. Go follow them right now. hd.for.life. Once again, hd.for.life. Go follow them. Make sure you do it. Sales are going up. A lot of the stuff, the prices have been lowered. Hey, summer's coming up. It's starting to get a little hot in the Bay Area, a little warm, a little humid. You want to get you some tank tops with this awesome graffiti art company. I'm down for a Soldier H-Dog or a Mr. Pimpin' because I used to be in them streets back in my days. Yes, sir. Brandon, but you were associated with the streets, so you should have acquired a bag or two. So you shouldn't have been broke.
I might not be like completely broke, just maybe the government thinks I'm broke, if you know what I'm saying.
Okay, I see. I went to a wrestling show on Sunday out in Oakley, YWA, Yarders Wrestling Alliance or Association. I forget what the A stands for. It was on a farm, dude. It was different. It hit different. I was actually surprised at the stage or whatever. Yeah, it was cool, man. A lot of the local Bay Area talent. You get the Bike Club there. All four of them in the same place. They came up to me. I thought they were going to bite me, but obviously you can't do that now because pandemic. You got Juicy Finale. You have the world's freshest tag team. Shout out to Zoe. He's battling some illness right now, and shout out Fresh. He's injured too. But yeah, man, it was fun. I got to interview D Rogue and Midas Creed. Brandon, what did you think of those interviews?
I quite enjoyed them, and on the D Rogue interview, you can definitely tell that you're on a farm because there was a rooster in the background, crowing or whatever you call it, for seemed like every 10 seconds. So you definitely got the the farm feel from the interview. But I mean, to be honest, I didn't really know these two guys. And for someone who goes to the Bay Area shows, it was fun to see and fun to listen to, learn their stories and their backgrounds. Shout out Virgil Flynn. Both of them name dropped him, helped train them. RIP. So, you know, a lot of people who listen to this might not be from the Bay Area, might not know some of these names that they throw out there. So it's kind of fun to spread the word, spread the name.
Absolutely. The line I really love from, that was a nice cradle as I'm watching Backlash 2016. D-Rogue said he's not just good for the Bay Area, he's good in general. I'm like, I love that. I love that. And, you know, we talked about the scene. It was an island for the longest time. I mean, you've seen, like, Beyond the Mat, like, you see, like, Mike Modest and, the dude's name is Tony, I believe. You see, like, how in the garage, how they had a nice little drawing, but, like, if you weren't, like, in the Bay Area, you didn't really know them. And like in the mid 2000s, you know, people will come in for a cup of coffee and that's really it. Go wrestle elsewhere. 2016 to like 2019 before the pandemic, man, it was hot. This was the place to be. I mean, you had Pentagon, you had Cody come in, you had Joey Ryan when he was a thing. You had him come in. You had a lot of guys come in here and just add credibility and elevate the name of the Bay Area wrestling scene. So, I mean, as shows start to go up, open up, I'm excited. I'm going to East Bay Pro next week. West Coast Pro, there's a pulse. There's a pulse. Homie put out something like just a video like saying like, hey, no, we're still here. Things might happen. So I was excited for that. And Juicy Finale, that dude is a character, bro. That little segment in the D-Rogue interview, that was great, man. Those dudes are hilarious. Don't be surprised if you see Juicy pop up on here in the next month or two.
Mm-hmm. A little hint for something down the line.
Yes. All right. A lot of things have happened since we've talked, Brandon.
So many things.
So many things. Mark Carrano, Joe Villa, and somebody else. They're no longer with WWE. Mickey James. I think it was right after we finished recording. Mickey James put onto the Twitterverse that she received her things that she left at WWE. I guess she had like a drawer or something, one of those traveling road cases. And it was in a beat-up box in a garbage bag with her name on it. And she was like, thanks to WWE. And it got a lot of heat and a lot of traction very, very fast. Triple H and Stephanie personally put out tweets tagging Mickey and saying the person responsible is no longer with the company. They took immediate action. And people thought it was just some intern who like made a mistake. No, it was higher up. It was Mark Carrano. And I've heard some things like he never really liked Mickey to begin with, and then all these other things are starting to come out about how he's a creep. And if you've seen him on Total Divas, dude kind of looks like a creep. I'm just putting it out there. He has like one of those faces. You know what I mean?
Well, as the resident Total Diva expert, I talked about it on Curveballs and Chair Shots when this news kind of broke. I mean, I did kind of get some sort of vibe from him. Now, I haven't heard or like read into any stories or any anecdotes, but if you say that's what's come out, I definitely do believe it. And I mean, he was the head of talent relations guy, so he was always going to be the bad cop. But there's really no excuse. And this isn't the only time this has happened. I think Maria Kanellis came out and said something's happened like this. And
Jillian Hall, Gail Kim said it happened back when she was there.
Yeah. I mean, Mickey James went on her podcast and kind of talked about, you know, ageism and everything in the business. And I mean, she's what, like in her early 40s. And yet AJ Styles, same age, doing, you know, some great work, very heavily featured. I mean, she came back with Alexa Bliss. She, you know, had something there, but Mickey James could have been so much more in that division. I almost kind of put her in the same boat as Natalya, super talented. I mean, maybe overall she did more than Natalya, but Mickey James is one of those people that they could have got so much more out in ring, behind the scenes. She was doing some commentary for, I think last time we went to a wrestling show, or maybe not the last time, but we went to the Chase Center and she was doing main event commentary, and then she was doing the pre-show for NXT. So she's very useful and versatile. It's just for whatever reason, whether personal, professional, she just didn't get those opportunities.
It's a damn shame. It really is. I thought she was going to have another run with the title. I mean, Goldberg can come back and win a championship. Why can't she? You know what I mean?
Which is my point. Once you turn 40, once you maybe turn like 35, for the women in WWE, it's like they don't have really anything to do with you unless you're a megastar like Charlotte.
Bro, look, dude, I'm gonna put it to you like this: she came back, tore it up at Asuka and NXT. That set the bar for her to start coming back and doing some stuff, man. Mickey James is so uber talented, and once that 90 days is up, I could see her going to NWA. Her husband's the heavyweight champion over there, so that kind of just makes sense. And you look at the women over there. She has history with Velvet Sky from the TNA run. Um, Melina's over there. She has history with Melina. I mean, Mickey James versus Thunder Rosa. I'd love to see that. Why not? Camille. She's still new to the game. Getting in there with a veteran like Mickey James who can hide, the weaknesses and the green spots and the gray areas. That's awesome. I'd personally want to see Mickey James over in the NWA. Everybody's like, oh, AEW, AEW. Like, guys, everybody can't go to AEW. You know what I mean? We have to calm down with that kind of talk. Let's put her somewhere where she can really help elevate the roster of a really well known brand, but one that doesn't really get that many eyes except for the hardcore viewer, the truly hardcore viewer. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, when I did the rundown of everyone and where I can see them shaking out, I could see Mickey James going to AEW. She's a big name. She's a good veteran, but I agree with you. I think the NWA is a really good spot for her. She has the link with her husband. She could elevate the younger talent, kind of the greener talent. I mean, we all kind of know like Thunder Rosa's there, Melina's there, but outside of that, not a lot of them are kind of well-known names. So being able to kind of cultivate, to kind of grow that women's division, that can be definitely a big positive for the NWA as they try to come back with shows and do some live events and things like that.
Absolutely, man. I mean, Ring of Honor. I mean, they're starting to try to build up their women's division. High end. I know she popped up over there. But I don't know. I mean, maybe she could do that. I mean, she's worked with Maria Kanellis in WWE, and then also Angelina Love in TNA. So there's a possibility for that. Plus, I wouldn't mind seeing Mandy Leon versus Mickey James. I mean, why not, right? It's different.
Wouldn't be surprised if we see Mickey James turn up on Impact.
Maybe. Yeah, a return. Her and Jordan Grace.
That could be a lot of fun. There's the AEW connection, so if she shows up on Impact, everyone's just going to be like, "Oh, that means she's going to AEW now." But I don't think that's exactly the case. Not everyone at Impact is going to AEW.
Ooh, Mickey James and Deonna Purrazzo. Give me that. Come on, bro.
I think outside NXT, Impact has the second best North American women's division.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%, dude. As we move on from that, SummerSlam, that looks to be the next WWE event with fans live in attendance. Rumors are going around. WWE is looking at either Phoenix or Texas to host the biggest party of the summer. Brandon, I mean, let's say this happens. Let's say they go to Phoenix. It's closer to us. Would you go?
I would maybe look into it. I think right now,
if the card was good.
Possibly. Going to get my vaccine, second dose, second week, or in 2 weeks. So by that time, I should be just rip roaring to go. Who knows what I would assume by August. We said this last year. Oh, by the time SummerSlam rolls around, we're going to be fine. We're going to have crowds. But little did we know, it's 2021. SummerSlam is when it's looking like it's going to be open. You know what, dude? People, like, when it first happened, they were like, oh, May or June. And then they were like August at the latest. Nobody said a year. And I think if somebody had said a year, they'd be like, oh, the people would have truly lost their minds. It didn't have to be a year. New Zealand, it wasn't a year. But we're not going to talk about that thing. Yeah, Americans are stupid. I'm just going to say it. That's why I hail from Canada. Yeah, last week on the re-debut of Under the Radar, talked about this. Both AEW and WWE kind of looking to get back on the road. And I said Texas or Florida, but Phoenix, Arizona, that makes sense too. They're kind of one of the more open places. Royal Rumble has been the place where they do the baseball stadiums. Now, if they go to Phoenix, do they want to go to the Diamondbacks ballpark? Do they want to go indoors to the arena? Do they want to go to the Arizona Cardinals stadium? There's a whole bunch of different aspects they can go to. So, Phoenix, it's different. It's more on the West Coast, so you don't have to, you're kind of spamming Florida right now. Make it over. Some people might feel comfortable and they can kind of get that aspect of the country. Absolutely. 100%, man. I'd say Phoenix. Yeah. Go to Phoenix. Or they can just, keep it in Florida where apparently you can have 15,000 unmasked people in a building like the UFC. And watch people break their legs. Yeah. Dana White. That was not a good look, my guy. This is why Vince is the head promoter in the world.
for reasons like this. You know,
AEW, exact same place in Jacksonville, yet they don't do that, and they even have an outdoor venue. So technically,
and they
it should
make
be
people
better.
wear masks. You see, bro. You know, but maybe UFC they should have looked into getting a Thunderdome of their own. They can afford it.
I mean, they kind of. I mean, they're not like a Thunderdome, but they had their places they would go.
I mean, they could look into doing something like that. I mean, come on, man.
They had Vegas, and then they had Fight Island. That was the two places they had.
I mean, they hosted a giant COVID party. That's all that was. Oh my God. Brandon, what happened on SmackDown, man?
Well, over on SmackDown, Cesaro still trying to get the attention of Roman Reigns. Daniel Bryan is now Cesaro's advocate, trying to get Roman to take on Cesaro for the Universal title, but Roman doesn't want that. He calls his own shots. He's the big dog. He's the head of the table. He doesn't want Cesaro, but he wants I got a text message. He wants Daniel Bryan, and not only does he want Daniel Bryan, if Roman wins, he wants Daniel Bryan to be gone from SmackDown. Now, we talked about Daniel Bryan possibly being detached and not being around much longer. Maybe playing into that a little bit. Is he gone? Is he leaving?
I would think so. I would think so. I saw something on Twitter. What if Roman just has not like a real San Martino run, but like he holds it for like a year and a half to 2.
I am all for that. Now,
It's different.
yeah, I mean, on Raw, you can maybe bounce it back and forth a little bit more, but with Roman, who knows what the end goal is if they want that Rock match, which if they do, that's the biggest match they have. And it's all just prudent upon the Rock wanting to do something. So I would hold it for that long to begin with. I mean, if you look around the baby faces that they have over there on SmackDown, unless you do like a title unification with Drew or someone else over, that's really the only place I see taking the belt off Roman that makes sense.
Yeah, and, I mean, like whoever beats Roman, man, they get the rub of saying, "I beat the most dominant champion we've had in the last, God knows how many years." I think the last, I mean, you could say Brock, but I mean, he wasn't there a whole lot. I mean, you could go Punk. You could go Punk 434. He was there every week. Roman's there every week. He doesn't have to wrestle every week, but he's there. You could say that. I beat the most dominant champion we've had in the last like 7 or 8 years. Or in the last decade, something like that.
CM Punk came out and talked about how if he comes back, he just sees himself as getting lost in the shuffle. And if you're going to pay, and it's going to take a lot of money to get CM Punk.
Yeah.
Now, is it Rock money? Probably not. Maybe The Rock takes a hometown discount. But if we're looking at either CM Punk or The Rock, as much as I love Punk, I'm taking The Rock all day.
It's true. Now I heard sidebar. I heard CM Punk. I was listening to Sam Roberts, and he had Kaz on. If you know Kaz, ESPN does some stuff with oh God, what's his name? Comedian. What's his name? He does stuff with Wale, but he also does stuff with Ron Funches on Kicking It with Kaz. How would you feel about Punk Joe Ring of Honor?
That would be a really big match for Ring of Honor to get.
Their first match or first show back in front of fans. You have like your traditional Ring of Honor show, and then your main event one last time, Punk versus Joe. Come on, bro.
That would be huge, and I don't think Punk would gouge Sinclair for money. But it's also like Punk. He said he creatively nothing really inspires him. Now he will come back if something intrigues him. Does one last run with Joe intrigue him? I don't know. I think it just all is prudent upon what does he want. Does he want to have that match with Joe? If so, he could make it happen. But it's just, does he want to make it happen?
Yeah, it's a possibility. I mean, but yeah, I mean the Daniel Bryan thing. He has to lose, and just let them have a cool like 3-second match, and Roman just beats his ass. Like he just beats him. Boom, done.
And then Bryan Danielson pops up on the G1 this year.
Hey, if that happened, Mike. Well, I think his contract's up in September, though.
I don't care. He's gone. He's gone from SmackDown, so that means his contract is up, right?
I mean,
then he goes to. If Daniel Bryan at NXT, that could be a lot of fun.
It's where we got to start in WWE.
Thanks to the Miz.
That would be. I'm watching the Miz right now. Great 24. We're going to talk about too. Let's just talk about it right now. The Miz 24. Brandon, did you watch it?
Phillip,
did you watch it?
Of course.
On the script, you're hosting the Miz 24 segment.
Of course, I watch the Miz 24/7. I am the Miz and Mrs. expert. I did the recap last week or yesterday, and I just know the Miz inside and out. And it was just a great in-depth look on his life and what he does. I mean, the Miz, it's also kind of the thing with these documentaries is why do you do these on heels? Because they kind of feel sympathetic and they kind of like, oh, I like this guy. Why am I going to boo him? But then it's the Miz and yada, yada, yada. He kind of knows he's an a-hole. He leads into it a little bit. So nice little thing there. Shout out the Miz. He's going to get a vasectomy on Miz and Mrs. sooner rather than later. Stay tuned for that.
Little snip, snip. You snip, snip. Man, look, it was cool, man. I mean, we got a real insight to who Mike Mizanin truly is. The footage of him as a child, the stuff on the Real World. We should thank the Real World because that's where he created the character of the Miz, and it's all there. I mean, he gets to WWE tough enough. People don't realize he wrestled on the Indies for a little bit. Like that gets lost in the shuffle. The same with like Cena, where we're like, oh yeah, he just showed up here, like no, some work was put in front of like 20 people, you know what I mean? First Deep South champion, talked about the Diva Search stuff, meeting Maurice, getting kicked out of the locker room for eating chicken over who should not be named's bag, or it was off to the side. That's what he was saying. But yeah, it's just like the whole career trajectory, and then winning the title, getting concussed, not remembering the main event match with Cena, going through a slump for the next quite a few years until he finally got the title back this year. You know what I mean? So it was just nice to see the story of the Miz. I really enjoyed this one.
The Miz's story is like so different, and as much as I kind of bag on him, and I do not like what he's doing with Morrison, and for the most part, I've never really like been that entertained by what he does. I still respect the guy. He should have never been as big and as successful as he was in wrestling, and yet he is the longest tenured guy right now. I mean, you could say Cena, but Cena, we haven't seen him in over a year. So Miz is like the veteran right now, and that's just kind of insane to think about. And
what about Ziggler?
I mean, I guess you can go back to Ziggler, but I mean,
been there longer.
But I'm trying to think. I mean, him and Ziggler, but then also, I mean, they're almost kind of the same thing. It's like they're always going to be those younger guys, but you don't really think of them as being that old.
Yeah. I mean, and Ziggler said that Miz now that in this latter part of his career, now the in-ring work backs up the mic work. Would you say that?
Well, say that one more time.
Ziggler said on the 24 that the Miz's in-ring work now backs up the mic work.
The Miz, he's almost like Randy Orton. He's found his groove. He's almost perfected the WWE style for better, for worse. I will say though,
better.
I will say he has gotten better in the ring, and I will say one of my favorite matches, maybe top 5 matches I've ever seen live, is a Miz match, which is just insane for me to think about. No Mercy, him, Ziggler. Ziggler loses the IC. If he loses, it's loser leaves town basically. Bunch of shenanigans. It's Ziggler, quote unquote, carries it athletically, but it was just a fun match to watch.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to throw that on right now while we're recording. All right, as we move on from that, let's go to outside of the ring. So apparently the Supreme Court denies wrestler brain damage cases against the WWE. I saw that on Backstage Brawl. Let me go to that right now. Backstage Brawl, here it is. Yeah. So, the U.S. Supreme Court on Monday declined to hear the appeals of several former pro wrestlers who claimed in lawsuits that World Wrestling Entertainment failed to protect them for repeated head injuries that led to long-term brain damage. The former wrestlers asked the High Court to review lower court rulings that dismissed the lawsuit because they were filed too late. The plaintiffs include William Billy Jack Haynes, Big Russ McClough, Ryan Sakota, Matt Luther Reigns. Oh, wow. The wife of the late Nelson Viscera Frazier, also known as Big Daddy V, who died in 2014.
We've kind of like periodically gone through this as it's gone through the courts. And every time I've always thought that there was no case. I mean, I feel for the wrestlers. I understand, they've gone through some hellish injuries and concussions, CT. That's all no joke. But I always felt it was kind of hard for them to prove their case that WWE was in direct link to the causing of injuries and like directly responsible. You could say they worked a lot outside of WWE. How much could you equate them to, how much could you equate their injuries to what they did in WWE and everything like that? It's just way too hard for a direct link and direct, capability or whatever the hell word I'm trying to say for WWE to be responsible for this.
Accountability.
Cultability?
Accountability.
Yeah.
Accountability. Yeah, it's a different beast. It's a different animal. And I know I'm not talking about Dave Bautista. As we move on from that, Cody Rhodes said in a recent interview he never wants to be heel in AEW. How do you feel about that? Because I somebody pointed this out and I never really thought about it. There's the heel and entrance side for wrestlers to come out. Cody comes up through the middle, kind of like in between it all.
He's bigger than that. He's bigger than everything.
That's true.
Yes.
Yeah.
But maybe he's saying it just to say it, and down the line he will be a heel. I always never say never. He's young enough. There's so many different avenues and things to tell. And when it comes to him never challenging for the world title, I always just assumed he will challenge for the world title soon, or not soon, but eventually. And the reason for him challenging for the title is because he's a heel. Like, that's always the kind of route I saw them taking if he were to get a title shot.
Absolutely. I don't know, man. Cody is a heel. I mean, come on, like it writes itself. The Prince of Pro Wrestling. My dad was one of the most famous wrestlers ever. It's in my blood. I helped get this company off the ground. Come on, man. It all writes itself. Those are some heel tactics.
I mean, yeah, the story kind of writes itself. Not saying he needs to be a heel right now. Maybe in the next 5 years with the Elite doing their thing. Hopefully they stay on the heel side for a long time so Cody can be the good guy in ownership.
That's true. We shall. I mean, I don't know what he's 35 now. He said he doesn't want to wrestle in his 40s. So we have like a 4-year window basically.
And then he gets the itch again, and then he comes back as a heel.
I see. I see. All right, MLW to Vice this Saturday. What are your thoughts on that?
Exciting. I will probably check it out. Hopefully I remember to throw it on. MLW's been doing some good things, and them showing up on Vice. Is this kind of like reruns and them kind of maybe getting the people up to speed before they do their live shows, I believe, like in the summertime?
Yeah, that's all it is.
So, I mean, good for them. It makes a lot of sense. You kind of throw it out there for people to just kind of maybe catch or wander into, and they're like, oh, I like this. And then just run adverts, almost every other commercial break. Just say like, oh, you like this? We're coming back in June. Stay tuned. Hit your DVR.
Yep. MLW, they do great work, man. Looking at the release talent, I'd love to see Bo Dallas in MLW.
I see Bo Dallas more kind of in that NWA type of.
I mean, he could pop in. Why not? Hell,
I'm not against it. I mean, I think him, maybe even Tuckey, in MLW.
I don't see him moving the needle, dude. I really don't.
Him and I said him and No Way Jose. They're gonna run New Japan as a marquee tag team.
Didn't No Way Jose get released last year?
I'm still waiting for that New Japan run from No Way Jose.
If that happens, let me see. I don't know what I can say I can eat, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. If that happens, I'll eat McDonald's. I hate that stuff. There we go. Yeah, there we go. If No Way Jose makes a run in JPW, I will eat the most unhealthy thing on the McDonald's menu. How about that?
Damn, hating on McDonald's.
It's not good. Like, that stuff will kill you. Yeah. Anyway,
had their new fancy spicy chicken sandwich. It was trash. I'd just rather have a cheap old a McChicken.
I mean, you always got to go with the Popeyes chicken sandwich, though.
I know, but as a chicken sandwich connoisseur, I saw that they have some new chicken sandwich, obviously biting off of the Chick-fil-A and Popeyes hype. Not that great.
I mean,
not that great.
Yeah, but I mean, Chick-fil-A really isn't all that great. I mean, Chick-fil-A is overhyped. I think we can agree.
I would disagree. I don't know what you consider hyped. I think it
it-
is really good. I think consistency. It is very consistent. It is always going to taste really good.
I mean, but
it's not like Popeyes, where I think Popeyes it could be better than Chick-fil-A,
I mean, but
but
like
sometimes it's hit and miss.
with Chick-fil-A, like if you have it, like you don't taste the racism and homophobia.
Sometimes you gotta just
Well, you can't turn the other cheek.
I'm not turning the other cheek. I definitely understand that there are some some things with the Chick-fil-A.
I mean, with all the riots that happened, I'm like, why aren't you guys burning down Chick-fil-A's?
But we're in California, we're in the Bay Area. No one's like that here, right, Philip? We're in our nice little liberal bubble.
No, there are people like that here. Don't be blind, everybody. Don't be blind.
Shout out Drake Wirtz. I don't know if you saw, but he's out here saying that if people start wearing masks and stuff, it's like about human or child trafficking.
Yeah, I saw that. That didn't make any sense. That was the farthest reach in the history of reaches. Yeah. All right. Moving on from all of that, CMLL cuts ties with Ring of Honor. I think they got a little hurt. They got their feelings hurt that Roosh and Dragon Lee and somebody else that Ring of Honor swooped them up.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense why CMLL might cut ties with the pandemic and everything. You might not have too many, might not be able to trade the talent you really want. And when the talent that you do have, they get taken away from you, you're probably not going to look fondly on your partner very much. And I mean, Roosh, one of the best, not even luchadors, just one of the best wrestlers in the world right now. So it's definitely a blow to CMLL, but they're popular, one of the most longest running promotions in the world. I think they'll be fine.
I mean, Roosh, the leader, was the La Faction Ingobernables. They do good work, man.
See.
Yes. All right, Daga to AEW, the AAA Latin American champion. He has been making some headlines with possibly Tony Khan interested in signing him. Now, if you get him, I think like he's a nice talent. But you want his fiance. You want Tessa.
I will be completely honest. Don't know that much about him.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that much about him either. But I'm saying, like, you want Tessa. If you can get him to get to Tessa, you might as well do it. Like, you can throw a little bag at her. That's all I'm saying.
But if she kind of, you're just going to turn the other cheek to the hint of racism and homophobia.
I need to really look into that. You know what I mean? Like I need some audio recordings, like what we got from Hulk. You know.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, you said it on the show too that they need Tessa. We've both said it here.
I agree. I think Tessa, one of the best female wrestlers out there. And AEW desperately needs some top tier women talent. I think they've done a good job at kind of building some of the women that they have up there. I mean, just kind of off the top of my head, like Tessa Blanchard versus Jade. I know Jade is super green, but I think Tessa could carry her to a really good match, and it can be a big deal. Don't know who would be the baby face in that scenario, but
hell, she could join the Pinnacle.
She could. Makes sense.
Her dad's there, just makes sense, right? Yeah.
I wouldn't be shocked if the Pinnacle adds a female.
Yeah. What if Jade went to the Pinnacle? People talk about trying to get her. Yeah. The manager's trying to get her on AEW. What if she just went to the Pinnacle?
I do think they're really heavily leaning into like Matt Hardy and Vicky Guerrero being people trying to go after her. And I would assume if she does go anywhere, it's going to be someone who they're not even talking about or thinking about. And the Pinnacle is one of those, unless it's someone completely off the radar and not even with the company right now.
Team Taz. She goes to Team Taz.
And she loses every other week and then randomly beats the number one contender.
Yeah. Or she's the one that gets the job done all the time.
Okay.
As we go on to Inside of the Ring, Impact Wrestling had Rebellion. We see Big Cass. Remember him, Big Cass? Kaz XL? He debuts under some name W something with Violent by Design, Eric Young's faction. Jordan Grace, along with her tag partner, become the new Knockouts Tag Team Champions. Deonna Purrazzo retains. Kenny Omega, he becomes the undisputed Impact TNA Champion. If anybody thought Rich Swann was actually going to win, you were an idiot.
Yeah, I don't watch Impact at all, and I knew Kenny Omega was going to win that match.
That's why you listen to Into the Stratosphere. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes.
Cindy knows what she's talking about.
Absolutely. That's why she's here. So, what are your thoughts on Kenny Omega having all the gold?
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. He's the AAA mega champion. He's AEW. Now he's the belt collector over on Impact. I mean, as soon as this match was booked, I knew Kenny was going to win. Now, it was wondering on what the finish would be. Clean as a whistle. Kenny hits the one-wing angel for the win. Bada boom, bada bing. I don't know what this means for the title. How does Kenny lose it? Does he just hold it forever? Does he do a Bad Bunny and just be like, I don't want this anymore. You guys can have it back. That'd just be so bad for the company. But
so, how long before he gets the NWA and IWGP titles?
I don't see that happening, but you never know.
Yeah,
I didn't think that he'd be on Impact and be the Impact's world champion. So
yeah. Hey, CMLL, you looking for a new partner? Hey,
I mean, they are partners with AAA already, so I don't know if that's going to work out.
Why not? Just do it all.
AEW is just going to run Mexico.
Yeah. I mean, Tom Lawler wins the NJPW Strong Openweight title. How do you feel about that?
Good for him. I mean, filthy Tom Lawler. I've seen some of his stuff, mostly on like Bloodsport and some GCW things. I've really enjoyed his work. MMA fighter transitioning into the pro wrestling world. More titles in New Japan. Don't love to see that, but Tom Lawler over here in the States, he's a good fit for New Japan, definitely. Phillip, you're on mute.
Oh, I'm on mute. Oh my God, I'm sorry. I pulled a Brandon. This day in wrestling.
I haven't done that forever. I think it's just a Phillip now.
No, it's always a Brandon. It's forever a Brandon. All right, this day in wrestling, Collision in Korea, 1995. That's going to be on the upcoming season of Dark Side of the Ring that debuts next week. I'm excited. Brian Pillman Memorial Show happened on this day in 1998. Chris Benoit versus Chris Jericho again. Brian Pillman, the first episode for Dark Side of the Ring Season 3. Raw on this day in 2002, the Immortal Hulk Hogan goes up against William Regal. Backlash 2007, John Cena retained against, I think it was Shawn Michaels, Edge, and Randy Orton in a fatal four-way. In a four-way fade, playa. Steiner Math on this day in 2008. Oh, my God. Brandon, did you become a better mathematician because of Steiner Math?
I am a certified mathematician, thanks to Steiner. And the other day on the TikTok, I did see a Steiner Math TikTok meme or TikTok. So
you and this talk tick, I don't understand it.
Hey, I got to be hip with the kids.
You got to be hip. You got to be hip with the kids. I mean, you look at Samoa Joe, and you can see the statement is not true. See, normally if you go one-on-one with another wrestler, you got a 50-50 chance of winning. But I'm a genetic freak, and I'm not normal, so you got a 25% chance at best of beating me. And then you add Kurt Angle to the mix, and your chances of winning drastically go down. You see the three-way at Sacrifice. You got a 33 1/3 chance of winning, and I got a 66 2/3 chance of winning because Kurt Angle knows he can't beat me. He's not even going to try. So Samoa Joe, you take your 33rd 1/3 chance minus my 25% chance, and you got an 1/8 of third chance of winning at Sacrifice. I got 141 2/3 chance of winning at Sacrifice. You see, Joe, the numbers don't lie, and they spell disaster for you. That math is great. I love it. He put A. If he was around when Einstein was alive, oh, come on. We'd be talking about Scott Steiner.
I have heard that promo so many times, and I still can't decipher if he's right or wrong.
You know what?
Oh everything makes sense.
I'm getting a phone call. Oh, my God.
I was the one that's supposed to get the phone call.
Oh, my God. I don't know anybody in Fremont. That scared me. Dude, we need Scott Steiner on the show. I need to know. You know what? Dark Side of the Ring, they should just do a whole episode about Steiner Math. Like how that all came to be.
We need an A&E biography on it.
Yeah, let's do it. Or the guy that did the Wrestlers docs on Vice, get him to do it. That'd be great. I'm all for it. So yeah, what about the Steiner Math that you were saying?
I've listened to it so many times. It makes sense when he says it, but it is also just so completely insane and illogical that I love every bit of it.
Yes. All right. Birthdays. Happy birthday to Titus O'Neil. Millions of dollars. Millions of dollars. 44 years old, the Warrior Award recipient. And then happy 36th birthday to one of the longest reigning Ring of Honor champions of all time, Jay Lethal Black Machismo. Were you a fan of Black Machismo?
I didn't watch Impact when he was doing it for the longest time, but I did fall in love with it when it made its comeback on Being the Elite, and he made his debut on All In.
Absolutely. All right, fan mail, Dan. Hey guys, I listened to Cheap Heat with Rosenberg. That's my guy. Rosenberg said that the archivist just randomly pulled out a piece of paper that Vince Sr. signed when VKM bought the company from his dad. If you could tour the warehouse and take a document, what would it be? They probably won't let you have that one. He puts crying emojis. But what other document would you love to take if allowed? Probably Vince buying WCW. Or maybe some of those territories.
That one did come to mind. I wonder a document.
I mean, but hey, Vince buying the company from his dad. I mean, could we say more important than the Declaration of Independence? Could we say that? Given the state of America today, could we say that?
I mean, I don't know if I'd go that far.
I'll go that far. I'm not afraid.
All right, you can go that far. I'm just because I'm trying to like think of something, but I don't even know if it's like an actual document. Like the one thing that came to mind was like the booking sheet for WrestleMania 31, and like they just scribble out Roman Reigns winning, just be like Seth Rollins cash in, which I don't even think that's a real thing, but that's
just put SR. There's probably a board. They just put SR. That'd be interesting. Yeah, that'd be cool. I'm not opposed to that. All right, what else do we got? Nigerian Prince. How are you guys liking Apollo's Nigerian run so far? I know Brandon wasn't messing with the accent. I also watched.
Still not.
Bro, why not?
Still not messing with the accent.
Why not? Because
we've heard him for so long not having the accent, and then he comes out with the accent, and it's just so fake.
You know what? You know it. So here's what happened. He had a dialect coach, and they were just like, you know what? You need a refresher. Just embrace the accent, dude. We'll stop the dialect sessions and just go for it. That's what happened. That's what happened. I have sources confirmed. That's what happened. Yeah.
So the man from Stone Mountain, Georgia, also born, apparently he was born in Sacramento. That's nice. Has a very strong Nigerian accent.
Yeah, well, his parents, they're from Nigeria. You can pick it up, man.
I understand you'd have like maybe a slight accent.
But when I came back from Texas, my guy, I knew there was a little southern twang. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Also, thanks to the TikTok, didn't realize that we do have an accent over here on California because we don't pronounce our T's. Really?
Say something.
What's the capital of our great state?
Sacramento.
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 He said Sacramento.
Wow. You know what? When I was in Texas, they said, why you say stuff like that?
Where's the boardwalk at?
What? Santa Cruz?
Santa Cruz.
Wow. You know what? We really don't. I mean, should I say we really don't? Should I just say it like that?
Yeah, we never pronounce our T's.
So how would you say your last name then, dude?
Anguma.
Brandon Anguma.
There you go.
Phillip and Wine. This is weird. It's so weird. The other part of the interview says, or the email, Jesus. I also watched Sasha and Bianca back a couple days ago and still get chills. Have you guys watched it back? I'm funny about watching stuff back, man. Like, if something's a banger, I watch it back like right after it happens, and I'll watch it back like from time to time. Like that Fatal 4-Way with Strowman, Joe, Roman, and Brock from a couple years ago at SummerSlam. Watched that back a couple times. That was cool. Certain matches where I feel like they're special, I don't watch them back. Like, because I want to remember how I felt in that moment. You know what I mean? Like, I haven't watched Sasha Bailey back since it happened. The same with Nakamura and Sami Zayn. Haven't watched it back since it happened.
I'm a little different, but then also kind of the same. Like I haven't watched WrestleMania back. I still haven't even watched last year's WrestleMania back. When it comes to 2 years ago WrestleMania, I think the only match I've really watched back is the women's main event. And I think that was more just like I was so tired. I was like so exhausted at that point. I couldn't really get into it. So I wanted to get at it with fresh eyes and watch that match. But I kind of
You were exhausted and you did a podcast with me for like 50 minutes after.
I know I'm such a big time trooper.
You're a ooper.
I'm a big time Rooper.
Big time. You're a big time Rooper.
Big I'm Rooper.
Man, we're stupid. I mean, we're oopid. There we go.
Stupid.
We stupid. Robert Walker says, not going to lie, kind of like RK, bro. Absolutely not. Never email us again. Stop yourself. Don't email me ever again. Don't ever say that to me again. I don't want to hear that. Randy Orton was just in a complex, weird, interesting storyline. And before that, doing some of the best work of his career. Winning the WWE Championship. Getting involved with Edge. Telling these unbelievable stories. Bringing the Legend Killer back. We're going to put him with the stoner. That disgusts me.
I will say
that disgusts me.
RK Bros is a downgrade for Randy Orton, but it is an upgrade for Matt Riddle. So take it for what you will. I know you're not the Riddle guy. I'm more the Riddle guy. You're more the Orton guy than I am. So I think we both kind of meet in the middle, I guess.
Yeah, I just don't know. In Brightest Day X.
Mr. X.
Thank you. You really gain a new appreciation for Roddy Piper's promos after seeing how much time and effort he put into his words, not just randomly saying things. He was more of a master than we realized. Yeah, the Roddy Piper doc. I didn't watch it. I saw a little bit of it, but I didn't watch the whole thing. So maybe we'll do a bonus podcast or something to catch up on that kind of stuff. Should the FTW title be actively defended in AEW? After what we saw this week, or could Hangman be the guy to take it off a cage? I don't know, possibly. I mean, the Bullet Cast title, it's more of a championship than the FTW title. It's defended all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Next time, Double or Nothing, right?
Yes. That and Money in the Bank, Money in the Bizank. All right. What piece of Kane or Undertaker history would you like to have? For me, the first Kane mask they were looking for would be awesome to have. As for Taker, maybe any piece of his gear from his debut would be amazing. Oh man, Taker, you know, I'll take the gear from 25 or the gear from 30, because the streak's over. That'd be interesting. Kane, I don't know, dude. Maybe the mask he had when he takes off the mask for the first time against RVD. I think that'd be interesting. I'm not opposed to that. Or the suit that he wore when he debuted, like the whole getup. I think that'd be cool.
I'm gonna go way off the board. I'm gonna go with the mask, but not an early mask. I'm gonna go with when he returned in 2012, 2011, when he came back with the welder's mask. And if it was because of that storyline and that return was the reason why I was like, oh, this is cool. I wonder what other people thought about the look. So then I go and find Wrestling Podcast. And so if it wasn't for Kane and him re-debuting with the new look, I might not be into Wrestling Podcast. I might not even be doing this podcast to begin with because of Kane. So
you know what? You know what? I'm going to try to get him on the show. And Brandon, you're going to do that interview with me. You're going to tell him that story.
There you go. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. You're the reason why I'm interviewing you right now.
Thank you to the Hall of Famer, man. Woo! All right. What about Taker? What kind of Taker memorabilia?
I'm going big time. I want a Undertaker bike. Give me a bike. I don't know if that's even a thing. Just give me a bike.
They have to be in the warehouses, dude. They have to be. But which one?
Actually, no. I'm going even bigger.
Oh.
So I have.
You want an urn?
I have even bigger. I have a little die-cast funny car it's like an Undertaker funny car die-cast. And I saw in the warehouse they have the Rock. They have at least the Rock cover to it. I want the Undertaker one, or at least the whole car. Give me the whole Undertaker funny car.
You wouldn't want any gear? Nothing?
No, I'm going for the automotives.
Oh, okay. Maybe the Undertaker mask when he broke his orbital bone. That'd be cool to have.
Well, you can't get that anymore because that was discovered in the storage container, and now it's going to be at the WWE Museum Hall of Fame, whatever they call it.
Oh wow, I see. All right, last up, he says, speaking of this past episode of WWE's Most Wanted Treasures, the part where Taker pointed out in the arena in Tennessee where they used to work at, then it switched to a scene from a city of a stadium. Wasn't Tennessee? What? It was a scene from a downtown Cincinnati and Paul Brown Stadium. Just wanted to point that out. I guess
they went to go. So what I'm trying to explain what. So the guy and the Undertaker were driving to Knoxville to go to see Kane, allegedly in the story or in the show that they were going to go meet him up and try to find the old school, the original Kane mask. And so they're down on the freeway. Undertaker points is like, oh, that's the arena where we wrestled for the first time in Smoky Mountain when Kane was the Unabomber. So Mr. X, as someone who lives over in the Kentucky, Cincinnati area, just kind of pointing out that, that's not actually where they were talking about.
I see. Brandon, as we start to kind of really speed through, we already talked about Miz. What happened on Raw? The one thing I have on the list.
Well, the big thing that happened on Raw is we have now a triple threat match at WrestleMania Backlash. You got to say the whole thing, not what Lashley said. He just said Backlash. It's WrestleMania Backlash.
Bobby Lashley versus Drew McIntyre versus Daniel Bryan?
No, it's Lashley versus Drew McIntyre versus Braun Strowman. Apparently, WWE has a stick up there, about handicap matches. We had another handicap match doing the exact same thing they did last week. Braun taking on not Retribution, and then Drew McIntyre comes in. They have a tag team match. Then some shenanigans happen. Then we lead to Braun versus Drew. Drew loses because of distractions and things. Gotta love that. Braun wins the match, and now we have a triple threat match.
You gotta love it. Oh my God, that was different. That hit different. It's happening, I guess. Braun's only there to take the fall. We all know that. So Lashley can keep the championship. That's all we know. I think Braun's gonna get Claymored, and then Lashley just get Drew out of the ring and pin Braun. That's how I'm calling the finish.
They did go and hint at that reason why Lashley lost the U.S. title was because of a triple threat match.
Continuity? What?
I know, that's crazy.
That is crazy. Oh my God. Charlotte also got her suspension revoked. Yeah, lifted
because of Daddy Sonya Deville.
Yes.
Now she's on Raw now, I guess.
You just called her Daddy? What?
That's what she calls herself. She's Daddy.
Oh,
at least on Instagram.
Is she Daddy or Zaddy?
She's underrated.
Okay.
Very, very underrated.
Underrated. Maybe she should be on Under the Radar.
Yeah, whenever that comes back, who knows?
When are you doing interviews on Under the Radar? When's that happening?
I don't know. One step at a time, Philip.
You got to slide into these DMs, man, like I do.
Technically, I'm on a 2-week trial with this with the company I'm working with. So maybe, I'll take a 2-week hiatus and then they'll fire me and I'll be right back.
Okay, I see.
There you go.
Dave Meltzer was in the spotlight for negative things once again, commenting about women's appearances. Yeah.
Want to divulge? Because is it about the Mickie James thing?
No. It was about Charlotte and she's getting
I remember. Okay, yeah.
dental work done, and
Andrade posted something.
Yeah, the trials of and tribulations of being a woman in the entertainment industry. Yeah, and then Charlotte just took to Twitter and wrote a novel saying, "Shame on you, Dave." I mean, you think he would learn from the Peyton Royce controversy?
Yeah, I'm not the Dave Meltzer guy. I defend him more often than not because Philip's not the Dave Meltzer guy, but I haven't listened to. I don't exactly know what he said. I saw his kind of defense on Twitter saying that I was just pointing out that there's a double standard for men and women. Like AJ Styles, almost the same age, not the same age as Mickie James, and yet he's a featured act on Raw, and she can't even get a commentating spot on Main Event.
It's a stretch. He was stretching there. Brandon, AEW, what happened?
AEW, they start off with Brian Cage taking on Hangman Adam Page. So we got Page and Cage. Don't get those two confused. Page enters first, but then Cage attacks him, powerbomb on the ramp, and Cage was kind of in command for a lot of it. Hangman makes a little bit of a comeback, but in the end, Brian Cage actually wins, pinning Hangman in the middle of the ring, 1, 2, 3. Obviously, you get the excuse of the pre-match attack, but Hangman losing. Maybe this is the way to get him off of his trajectory as the number one contender to face Kenny for the title. I mean, it makes sense, but it's like keeping Hangman. I'd rather keep Hangman strong, but this is kind of the issues with the rankings and keeping a very sports-like, demeanor for your product. You want to protect people, so you have them on a winning streak and you have them win and you win and win. So obviously they have to be number one contender, but it's not the time to have them face for the championship yet. So you need to have them lose to get veered off. And this is kind of like the downfall, I would say, of the rankings.
Yeah, I understand. I understand completely.
Then we get the Young Bucks taking on the Seidel's, non-title, but if the Seidel's won, they would have got a tag title match. And the Young Bucks get the win after Matt Jackson takes, was it Nick or not Nick? Which one of the Seidel's takes him to Dick Punch City? Oh, you gotta. Not supposed to say that.
I didn't even send them the show last week, dude. It's okay. I forgot.
Well, anyways, you took him to Richard Punch City. There you go. And the Young Bucks get the win.
I'm a fan. I like these new Bucks. They're different. And then SCU came out, right?
SCU does come out. Frankie Kazarian comes out first, talks yada, yada, yada about how once they lose, then we will split up as a tag team, but they haven't lost the entire year, and they will face off for the tag team titles. They are the number one contenders, it looks like, and it makes sense. Young Bucks are heels. They're quote unquote one of their best friends, old best friends, is the number one contenders, and they can retire them or at least break them up. So it makes a ton of sense it almost seems like this was the plan the entire time. If they had SCU announce that if they lose again, they're retiring or breaking up, and the Young Bucks doing this whole thing, which also makes it like, with that, all the ups and downs roller coaster with the Young Bucks was also playing. That just shaking my head at that.
So here's what I don't want to see SCU break up, because if they break up, then what do they do?
I guess they're just singles guys now.
What if they don't hot potato often? What if I'm trying to see. What if Mox and Kingston, they're trying to form a little tag team, right? What if they cost to get it, Kenny? What if they cost the Bucks the titles? You put them on SCU for a quick second. Bucks get them right back, and then yeah.
I keep it on the Young Bucks. I have them break up SCU, have them just be so over the top, maybe even cheat to win. And SCU is their baby faces, as much as they are mad at the Bucks. They want to hold up to their word, or even they could go back on their word because they got cheated. But the Young Bucks are, they're executives, so they can say like, "Oh no, you signed this contract," or yada yada yada. So you guys lost. You can't be a tag team anymore. You can go down that route.
That's a possibility. That is a possibility.
Well, next up on the docket, we had Orange Cassidy take on Penta, and Orange Cassidy actually won. We get some back and forth. They almost got a distraction finish, kind of, with Alex Abrahantes, and he does his little shtick about Penta, and Cassidy clocks him. He gets the microphone from Trent, or no, Chucky T. There we go, and hits him with the orange punch, a la Kenny Omega, and boom, Orange Cassidy gets the win.
Look, I got to give a sidebar. I've been watching some Chucky T stuff from the Indies. That dude was a beast. When he used to use the Omega Driver as a finisher, that dude was a beast, bro. I'm sorry. I just had to throw that out there. Why isn't the Omega Driver Kenny Omega's finisher?
It's when you got the One Wing Angel, no one's kicked out of it. I guess you got to stick to what.
Come on, bro. Like, let's be. I've said this to death. Let's be realistic here. It takes too long to set up. The Omega Driver, you flip them, they drop on your head real quick. Boom.
Maybe he breaks it out if he's facing Lance Archer or Paul White, if he ever comes out of retirement.
Have you ever seen an Omega Driver?
I have not, so I assume he's not going to pull an Omega Driver on the Big Show.
Bro, I'll introduce the next match. Look up an Omega Driver, dude. I'll introduce the next thing.
Damn, out here pulling a Brandon. I think it is a Phillip.
Oh my God, I'm sorry. I apologize. So I mean, Britt Baker, she's has a little segment with Tony Schiavone. Or was it Tony Schiavone? No, it wasn't Tony Schiavone.
It's always Tony Schiavone.
It is always Tony Schiavone, huh? Just talking about how she's the number one contender, how she's going to be in action next week. Rebel or Reba was with her. I'm excited for Britt Baker. Hopefully they put the title on her relatively quickly, because she's almost had the title for a year. I know AEW loves long title runs, but they have to be consistent. I mean, you feel like Sheeta hasn't had it for a long time, but then again, you do feel like it's been long enough, because she was hardly ever on TV, and she was wrestling Abaddon or Abandoned. Did you see that? You see that photo I posted of Abandoned without the makeup?
Someone's thirsty.
Well, hey, now hold on one second. It was just a different side of Abandoned, that's all I'm saying.
Abaddon.
Yeah, I'll give her name because of the picture. But yeah, have you seen the Omega Driver?
I did see the Omega Driver, and I mean, it's not exactly similar to the One Game Show, but it's almost the same concept. You just drop some dude on their head. I understand it might be quicker, but
it looks more devastating,
and also looks more dangerous.
Look, Matt, if he was dropping dudes with that, I'd actually like Kenny Omega. I'd be like, he's not really all that, but that finisher's dope.
But now I definitely want to see Kenny Omega drop the Big Show with an Omega Driver now.
You think Paul can even physically do that?
Probably not, but you never know.
That'd be scary. What are your thoughts on
WCW? The Giant could have done it.
Yeah, doing moonsaults and whatnot. What are your thoughts on Britt Baker's promo?
I liked it. More of the same. Definitely building to Britt versus Hikaru Shida, probably at Double or Nothing. And I think it's time, just take the title off of Shida, put it on Britt, have her be the heel champion. Maybe we get Thunder Rosa coming back. Britt can get the win, and we can see where they go from there. But then, I mean, at this point, Darby is the only non-heel champion, and I keep saying I feel like Miro is going to be the one to take it off of him. So.
I wouldn't mind seeing Miro as the TNT champion. Hey, he had some fire this week. I liked what he did to Kip. You have to pay for your sins. I like that.
And then he hugged him and almost rocked him to sleep after he almost murdered him.
It's different. They're not fighting over video games. I like that. I kind of like that.
I very much enjoyed it too. The other thing I very much enjoyed was the Pinnacle and Inner Circle parlay. All 10 members were in the ring with Tony Schiavone, and Tony Schiavone was going to do the coin toss to see who gets the advantage, and Sean Spears interrupts and says they should get the advantage, and then Sammy Guevara says, sure, you guys want it, you guys can have it. I'll be the first one. I'll take all 5 of you guys on. So once again, shockingly, the heels have the advantage in a War Games match or Blood and Guts. But overall, I really enjoyed this promo. I think everyone, maybe it was a little slow starting with Sean Spears, but I think everyone else has been, killing it. Jericho got a lot more serious compared to what he was doing last weekend. Santana, once he's got that Jerry curl, he's got that New York, Puerto Rican swag. I mean, there's just been something different with him right now.
That Santana swag, baby. That snarl, you know what I'm saying? Sammy Guevara telling Sean Spears, you're a joke here, you're a joke where you used to work. I'm like, damn. Jesus Christ. Jericho, I mean, the work, I mean, the mic work was great. I mean, what did he say? 1969 was the summer of love. 2021 is going to be the summer of violence for the Pinnacle. And on May 5th, summer comes early. I love that.
And I think Jericho definitely, last week, I know people had some issues with him being a little too cute, but this one, it was more grounded Jericho. He was definitely more serious, and he was rebutting what MJF said the week before about, I might have been curtain jerking in WCW, but before that, I was all over the place main eventing, and the Oakland A's win. Love to see it.
Shout out to the Oakland A's. Should the Painmaker make a return in Blood and Guts?
That could be a possibility, but maybe that's something you want to build up. Not saying it's like a money draw, but if you're going to tell that story or have that come out, maybe you hint at it a little more.
I see. Uh-huh.
All right, moving on, we get the Kenny Omega, or well, I guess Nakazawa was in the ring, and whatchamacallit, Eddie Kingston made a run in or made his entrance, and he beats up Michael Nakazawa. Then he threatens to break his leg unless Kenny Omega comes down. Kenny doesn't do it. He's going to allow his friend to get beat up. But then Moxley beats up on Kenny. So we get a big old beatdown segment, kind of putting more, put more heat on the baby faces, having them getting their comeuppance on the heels. And they're having the tag team match next week. I believe they have, or no, they don't have the tag team match next week, but they do have Jon Moxley defending his U.S. title against Yuji Nagata on AEW television. What the hell is going on, Philip?
So the tag match is next week, and then the Yuji Nagata match is the week after.
Okay, there you go. See,
yeah.
I don't pay attention.
Yuji Nagata, man, underrated star. I mean, we talk about Japanese guys. You go to Kenta Kobashi and oh my god, the guy that starts with an M. You know what I'm talking about.
Misawa?
Yes, Misawa, and then obviously you go Tanahashi and Okada and Ishii and guys like that. But Yuji, what's his name again?
Yuji Nagata.
Yuji Nagata, yeah. Wrestled in WCW for quite some time. Tony Schiavone even made a mention of it. So I'm interested, dude. It came out of nowhere. I'm a fan of it.
So quick rundown for next week's card. We got the Blood and Guts. We got the Kenny Omega and Nakazawa taking on Moxley and Kingston. I would assume Nakazawa's eating the pinfall there. Cody taking on QT. Tag titles, SCU versus Jurassic Express. Varsity Blondes and the Acclaim. Winner gets a title shot. And then Britt Baker's going to be in action. Yeah. Speaking of Cody and QT, the Factory defeated the Nightmare. Once again, QT not doing anything, but yet he gets to shine. Anthony Ogogo doing some gut punches, and we get the return of Cody. There was a truck, or there's a bus. Cody beats up on QT. I mean, definitely showing off that QT isn't, a threat really at all, but definitely building up Anthony Ogogo. Ogogo? Yeah. And that, I don't know if I'd say stupid not heart punch, but gut punch, because I understand, liver punches and everything. Those are very devastating. But when it's like that's his only thing he does, it is a lie rolling.
So you wouldn't mind if he just punched people in the face?
Technically, well, I mean, if he's on the outside, he's not in the match. It's fine. It's still illegal, but it's not illegal.
But if his thing was
closed fist, Philip, I'm gonna go on my JR rant. There's supposed to be no closed fist in wrestling. Damn it.
So how do you punch somebody then?
You gotta open hand slap. You gotta open the fist. Make like a, I don't know, if everyone listening at home, follow along. Put your hands out and curl the knuckles in. Bam.
I mean, so
you open it. Do like a little hole. Make a little O with your hands. Look through it, and a bam.
So what if?
Or you just slap them.
So what if they're in a no holds barred match and it's a fight? Then what do you do?
Then you can punch him. But this was not a no holds barred fight. He was in a squash match a couple weeks ago. And whatever this 6-man tag team match was, it's not no holds barred, and he interfered. So,
okay, what if you're in What if you're in a regular match and in a heated rivalry, you can't punch the guy?
Well, the referee needs to give you a stern warning and say, "Open up the fist, no closed fists."
But let's say he did something dastardly to your family. You can't punch him in the face in a normal match. Doesn't make any sense.
Sometimes you get over anxious and you might, punch someone. But when you do a blatant closed fist, rear back, punch them right in the liver, that's a different story.
Look, man, the closed fist rule hasn't been effective in quite some time.
You got an elbow. You got an elbow. You got a forearm.
That's more devastating than a closed fist.
Exactly. I don't write the rules.
Then really, elbow shots should be illegal.
I enforce them.
They haven't been enforced in a very long time. If you want to watch
a downed opponent, no 12-6 elbows, no back of the head punches. We're going full UFC commission rules.
Look, here we go. If you want to watch wrestling where that's enforced, watch SWE Fury. Watch that. Traditional Texas style wrestling. They enforce that. there. Go find them on YouTube. They do some good work. Teddy Long's the GM. Holla holla player. You know, Mark Henry's the talent scout. Melina's there. Good stuff's happening there. Charlie Haas, you remember that guy? He's their champion. Go watch some of that stuff. Okay.
You had me at Melina.
Hey, now you met Melina. How was she? Was she great?
She's a lovely lady.
All right.
Next up, we got Christian Cage. He was doing a promo, and him and Taz go back and forth. Christian once again, kind of, I don't know if I'd say like overtly heel, but people like Taz, and he was saying like, "Oh, I came back after 7 years after retirement. I did something you could never do. You know, you're weak, yada yada." No, you didn't say that, but kind of insinuating that stuff. So, looks like maybe we get Hangman and Christian Cage in a tag team match against Team Taz. Possibly, I don't know. We're getting Christian Cage versus Taz. What are you talking about? That happens. If this happens in front of a crowd, let's be honest, people are going to cheer Taz over Christian.
What do you mean?
People are going to like Taz, especially if this is his like comeback match.
When was the last time he even had a match? Like 2000, right?
I guess he didn't do anything in Impact. I mean, he maybe got physical, but he never really had.
Yeah, that dude hasn't wrestled in 20 years. Let's not do that.
Let's look it up on the internet. Siri knows everything, right?
Or 2001, something like that. It's been like 20 years, man. Yeah, it's something of that ilk, of that nature. As I watch Backlash 2017, Shinsuke Nakamura going up against Dolph Ziggler. Yeah. So do you have an answer for us? You have an answer for the people?
So I looked it up on the Wikipedia. It says Taz's final televised match was in ECW and it aired on November 13th episode of Hardcore Television, in which he received a rematch against Mike Awesome for the World Heavyweight Championship, which he lost. So if I'm looking at it, I would assume that means 2000. Right? That would be... So he hasn't wrestled in over 20 years.
Well, that's different. That hits different. Oh, my God. Darby Allin retained against the half-repper.
He did retain his TNT title against the half-repper number 10. Once again, Darby kind of pulls it out at the very end with a little roll-up. He was getting submitted, but nope, he rolls him up, gets the win, and really good match. I mean, I got the thing with the half-repper, but got to give him his dues. This is probably the biggest match of his career, and I would say by far, and he definitely delivered. I mean, he's in there with Darby. He's not 10 isn't exactly like a big dude in terms of like Lance Archer type, but he was bigger than Darby and kind of played into that a little bit. So we're telling the story. I think they've had it 5 weeks in a row, Darby getting the win, but we've seen him coming closer and closer to losing it.
Yes, sir. I think if he does wrestle Miro should just annihilate him.
Similar to Brody Lee and Cody.
Yeah, could you imagine Miro hitting that Machka kick and then like putting him in the what was it called? The Accolade? Was it called? Was that what that was called?
Yes.
Yeah, and then him just squeezing all the way back on Darby. That'd be great, dude. Like really, the match shouldn't be longer than a minute.
I'd say maybe like go a few minutes, maybe have a one hope spot, but besides that, just Miro runs through him.
Okay, no more than 3 to 5 minutes.
Maybe we get like a throwaway Miro Kip Sabian match in a couple weeks, but besides that, didn't talk about Chris Statlander beating Kip Sabian's wife Penelope Ford.
I didn't see it.
Wow, you didn't see the one women's match on the show?
No, I did not.
Dang, hate to see it. Superstar Spotlight. Who do you got?
That's my thing.
But I didn't do
Superstar Spotlight. Who do you got? I'm giving it to the YWA. I'm giving it to the Yay Area wrestling scene. You feel me? Shout out to all those guys. I had a blast. Those are some good brothers, man. I'm gonna give it to some local talent this week. That's what I do.
Oh, good for you. You're such a good person. I will give it to the half-repper. I will give it to 10. I think our feud is over. I think we've mended fences. I still have some heat with some other talent in the Bay Area. Got name drop on those interviews. We're not going to talk about them.
Will Hobbs?
10 is good in my book.
You have heat with Will Hobbs?
No, it's a certain tag team that might hail from.
Oh,
yeah.
I see. Yeah. I see. Brandon, tell us about our promo and match picks of the week.
Well, we got a 2-for-1 here. We're going to go back in time to the early 80s. We're going to go to the AWA. Bobby Heenan I guess Nick Bockwinkel got name dropped at Rebellion when Don Callis was talking about some of the great world champions of the past generations. And Nick Bockwinkel is definitely one of those who I would say is underrated. We got a promo here with him and Bobby Heenan calling out Hulk Hogan. And then we're going to go into April 24th, 1983, Nick Bockwinkel taking on Hulk Hogan for the AWA Championship. I mean, this was kind of Hogan. I would say this was the best Hogan you're going to see. You got the athletic ability, you got the wrestling ability, and you got the promo and the charisma that we've come to know and love.
I don't know, man. I mean, Hogan in Japan was pretty decent. He was pretty decent.
And this is when he was doing it.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I'm talking about like the later Hogan run, like the later Japan stuff was still pretty cool. Hey man, Nick Bockwinkel, he's the guy that Jericho modeled that 2008 suit and tie character after. Even I listened to Christian on Jericho's pod, and he said that he got his promo style from Nick Bockwinkel as well. And hey man, if you want to be different, watch Nick Bockwinkel, watch Jake Roberts, the guys that didn't yell into the mic, the guys that spoke quietly, and you had to really lean in to hear what they were saying. Watch guys like that. The promo was great. Nick Bockwinkel, I mean, he was the AWA. He was the AWA. And this was cool, man. I loved it.
If Kenny Omega had just a little bit of Nick Bockwinkel in him, he would be so much better.
He needs a lot to be better. Let's let's calm down. He needs the Omega Driver.
I mean, if he has a lot of Nick Bockwinkel in him, I would take that as well.
He needs the Omega Driver. Needs a lot of Nick Bockwinkel. Needs to stop being too cute. Needs to crit the over dramatics. Yeah. He's not really charismatic. He's not. I'll say it. I've never been like entertained by Kenny Omega. I'll say it right here.
I wouldn't say he's not charismatic. He's just not doing the right type of charisma for a main event belt collecting better than you champion.
Look, I just don't see it. I just he's just not all that. I think people are really starting to finally see what I was talking about all those years ago when he was wrestling in Japan and the internet was getting wet over Kenny Omega. I'm like, look, he's not all that great. I said it on here for years, and now you people are finally starting to see it. I saw it back then. That's the kind of mind I have for the sport. You feel me? Yeah. I'm more charismatic than Kenny Omega. I'll say it right now. Listen.
Hot take.
No, it's not a hot take. It's the truth. Listen to this podcast. Listen to End the Click. Listen to Complex Conversations. Anytime I'm on a audio recording or a video recording, I'm charismatic as all hell. I'm more charismatic than Kenny Omega. That's not a hot take. That's just the God's honest truth. Ladies and gentlemen, follow us on Twitter at BulletCast, Instagram, The BulletCast, YouTube channel, The BulletCast. Email us BulletCast2 with the number 2 sweet as WET at gmail.com. 104.7 FM or FMKAPU and watch them every Friday night from 11 to midnight. iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, iRadio, Anchor, Spotify, Patreon, or all over the damn place. Check out the D-Rogue and Midas. Great interviews. I love those guys. Doing another interview on Sunday, and then doing another one next week at East Bay Pro. Stay clean, stay strong, stay safe, stay quarantined, get vaccinated. It's important. Diamonds are forever. So is the microphone messiah.
This has been the BulletCast. Thank you for listening.